Imagine this. The tour is sold out. The lights go down. A roar from the crowd. But when the singer steps up to the mic to hit that first iconic high note, there's nothing. Just silence.
That silence, that terror, is where our story begins today. Because for a musician, what happens when the instrument isn't a guitar you can replace, but your own body?
Welcome to StarScope Report.
Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today, we're looking at the shocking truth behind the headline. This doctor saved your favorite singer.
And it's not just one star. We're talking about a deep connection between Nashville's elite medical world and some of the biggest names in music.
And that's not even the wildest part. Later, we'll dive into the hip songwriter who thought she had writer's block, only to discover the problem was literally in her head.
If you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
Okay, so let's start with a really dramatic one. The silence of the country rocker. How a polyp nearly ended Gary Allan's career.
Right. So this is country rocker Gary Allan. He's known for this raw, kind of smoky voice, huge range. But around 2010, he hits a wall.
A literal wall. He has to cancel the rest of his tour because his signature high-end falsetto, it's just gone, vanished.
And what's fascinating is how it happened. He actually blames himself, in a way. He said he used to open every single show with his song, Get Off on the Pain.
Which is a really intense track.
Totally. And he'd just, scream it out every night without a proper warm-up.
And that kind of repeated trauma, that strain,
Yeah.
it has consequences. He developed what's called a vascular polyp on his vocal cords.
So what exactly is that? Is it like a blister?
It's sort of like that, yeah. It's a growth that stops the vocal cords from closing and vibrating smoothly.
Yeah.
And for a singer like him, losing that top range is basically, well, it's career suicide.
So he goes straight to the Vanderbilt Voice Center in Nashville.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
That place was founded back in '87 pretty much for this exact reason. Because Music City needed world-class vocal specialists.
And the doctor who did the surgery was Galen Garrett. She performed something called the microflap procedure.
Yeah, and the name itself tells you how incredibly delicate this is.
Microflap. It sounds precise.
It has to be. See, the goal isn't just to, cut the polyp out. That could leave scar tissue and ruin the voice forever.
Right.
The voice is made by two thin layers of tissue vibrating. So what she does is she delicately cuts a tiny flap in the surface layer, removes the polyp from underneath, and then lays the flap back down.
She described it as like taking a pea out of a pod without damaging the pod itself.
Exactly. You leave that outer layer intact, and you preserve the flexibility the singer needs to hit all those complex notes. It's just astonishing work.
And the stakes are just immense. I mean, Alan said it himself. My voice is my instrument. It's like being a guitar player and somebody taking all of the guitars in the world away from you.
You can feel the panic in that statement. And then comes the recovery, which is almost as hard as the surgery.
3 months of total vocal rest.
Total. No talking. He had to use a dry erase board to communicate with his family, with his 3 daughters.
Wow. But the doctors, they have to be strict. You can't have a multi-million-dollar artist rushing back on stage and undoing everything.
Absolutely not. The medical need has to win. And in his case, it did. He came back, he started touring again.
But he was smarter about it. He moved Get Off on the Pain further down on the set list, gave himself a chance to warm up.
A hard lesson learned. And he's not alone. The hallways at Vanderbilt are apparently lined with gold and platinum records from grateful patients.
Who are we talking about?
I mean, legends. Johnny Cash, Trisha Yearwood, Jack White, Winona Judd. The list goes on.
They even treated Willie Nelson. Dr. Garrett told him to rest his voice, and that's what inspired him to write the song Superman.
It just shows you how intertwined this medical center is with the actual creative output of Nashville.
But vocal cords aren't the only parts of a musician's anatomy Nashville's doctors have had to save. What happens when the problem isn't the voice, but the brain that's supposed to be writing the music?
Well, that takes us to an even more mind-blowing story. From the throat to the brain.
So now we're talking about a different headline. Not writer's block brain tumor, the shocking diagnosis that stifled a hit songwriter.
This is about Beth Nielsen Chapman. She's a songwriting powerhouse. Wrote huge hits for Willie Nelson and for Faith Hill, including the massive one, This Kiss.
Oh yeah, everyone knows that song, a Grammy nominee.
Right, and her process was always very intuitive. She said the music just kind of flowed through her. But then, in 2009, it just stopped.
She called it a creative shadow. The connection between emotion and language was just gone.
And at the same time, she started hearing this weird sound, a loud rumbling noise in her ears. She said it was like there was an airplane in my head.
That's terrifying. You'd think you were losing your hearing, which, for a musician...
It's just as bad as losing your voice.
Yeah.
So she goes to the ER at Vanderbilt. They do an MRI.
And what did they find?
Well, two things. The rumbling was a separate inner ear issue she'd had since birth. But the MRI also found something else, something much more urgent. A fast-growing tumor on her left frontal lobe.
The left frontal lobe? Isn't that the language center of the brain?
Precisely. Dr. Reed Thompson, the neurosurgeon, explained that the tumor was causing a ton of swelling right around the part of her brain responsible for language.
So it wasn't writer's block. It was a physical blockage. The swelling was literally choking off her ability to form lyrics.
It was hijacking the brain's language factory. Dr. Thompson, who was actually a fan of her music, knew he was operating on her health and her career at the same time.
I can't even imagine the pressure. A 4-hour surgery on the frontal lobe. You have to be so careful not to damage anything around it.
Absolutely. They used real-time brain mapping during the operation to avoid those critical areas. But the real proof that they got it right came right after she woke up.
This part of the story is incredible.
It is. She wakes up in the ICU, and the very first thing she does is ask for a pen and paper. And the words just came out.
Like a dam had broken. She said the third verse to a song she'd been stuck on for months, even as it all goes by, just appeared in her head, complete.
Wow. So the surgery didn't just save her life, it literally unlocked her creativity again.
It restored her identity. She was so grateful she later dedicated her song How We Love to Dr. Thompson at a performance. It just shows this profound level of trust.
And that trust, it goes beyond just individual patients. It fuels a whole culture of giving back to the community.
And stick around, because you won't believe the dollar amount that one iconic country group dropped to give back to the very place that saves their friends and colleagues.
Okay, so let's get into that. This is the bigger picture. Nashville's Healing Harmony. It's all about this unique relationship between the Stars and Vanderbilt University Medical Center.
It's not just charity for them. It feels more like they're investing in an ecosystem that protects them, their families, their bandmates, their road crews, everyone.
And the band Rascal Flatts is probably the best example of this. For sure. They've donated more than $3 million to the Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt.
$3 million. And it's not just a check they write every year. That money had a direct physical impact. The pediatric surgical suite there is now officially named the Rascal Flatts Surgery Center.
Think about that. Their name is literally on the place where these life-saving operations happen. It's a permanent legacy.
The band members have even said that helping the hospital is the biggest accomplishment of their entire careers.
Which just says a lot, considering how successful they've been. It shows you how personal it is.
And it's not always about huge, multi-million-dollar donations. You also see this continuous hands-on support from someone like Keith Urban.
Yeah, he's there all the time. He and Nicole Kidman will visit the Seacrest studios at the hospital, play games with the kids, perform.
He was there just recently, leading a sing-along and donating guitars to the hospital's music therapy program.
And that music therapy program is so important. It's a direct link between the music industries, well, its product, and an actual medical outcome.
Using music to help with pain, with anxiety, it's amazing.
It really is. The hospital's president calls Keith Urban a wonderful friend. And it's a true collaboration. Vince Gill even recorded a song that was written by one of the patients in the program.
So the artists aren't just performing for the patients, they're performing with them. They're part of the healing process.
Exactly. When you look at the whole system, from the microsurgery that saves a voice, to the neurosurgery that unlocks a mind, to the millions building operating rooms, it's all connected.
It's this perfect harmony between medicine and music in Nashville. They've realized that the industry's most valuable assets, the voices, the minds, need the highest level of protection.
It's a structure built to sustain a multi-billion-dollar industry by taking care of its people.
Which brings us to our final thought for you to chew on. Considering how critical the voice is and how devastating an injury can be, should the major record labels start doing what Dr. Garrett suggested?
Should they mandate baseline vocal examinations for every single new artist they sign?
To try and prevent these career-threatening injuries before they even happen, a shift from being reactive to being proactive.
It's a huge ethical and financial question, but it's one the music world is going to have to face.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.